For past few weeks, in fact, for past few months, I've been thinking a lot about the state of global economy and what are some of the projects where I want to invest, so that down the road, maybe in 5 or 10 years, it compounds and give me a better results. While answering some of these questions, it struck me how much money is enough for me. I mean, is $1 million enough? Honestly, probably not. How about $100 million? How about $1 billion with a big B? Is that enough? Well, like everything in life, I believe the answer to this question is it depends. I bet it depends on the state of my life, where I am, and what are our stakes. Maybe even $1 billion might seems not enough. But honestly, from where I am at this point, yeah, give me $100 million. I'm gonna chill for my entire life. If I do get $100 million, my strategy would be to spend more than half of it, or rather, invest more than half of it into various ventures, various projects, various uh, options, various asset classes, and whatnot. And for the remaining half or so, I would like to just travel around the world, do things which actually bring joy in me, such as working on my podcast or stand-up comedy or learning new skill sets and whatnot. So that would be really rich life. And one of the reasons why I even was pondering about how much would be enough for me is because of the book I read recently by Ramit Sethi, and the title of the book is "I Will Teach You to Be Rich." He outlined core strategies to use the automated technology to automatically invest into various systems, various stocks or bonds or asset class, and then leave it over time by gradually feeding it using your automated investment strategy. And over time, maybe 5 years, 10 years, 15 years, 20 years, you would see that the compounding effect within your portfolio have amplified your initial investment altogether. And this is not a new strategy. This is a pretty known strategy. I mean, a lot of people who've been consistently investing throughout their life of in retirement funds as well as in the some of the other funds out there, they do so because at the end of 30, 40, 50 years, they would get the big chunk of money, which is compounded, which is in a lot of cases, tax free or could be lower tax and whatnot. So there are a lot of benefits in long term investment, period. But that being said, one of the core features of the digital era we are living in, as well as the core message of the book from Ramit, is that we can automate some of these systems. So traditionally these systems were managed by hedge fund managers or mutual fund managers, and they charges like huge chunk of fees, among other things. And moreover, you have to sort of rely on the management to make the call for you. So basically, they are gambling with your money. But with the automated strategy, you can pick and choose which stocks or which options or which funds you want to allocate the money to, and just invest into it every week or every month or however you seem fit. And I specifically gravitate towards index funds, and that's what Ramit was also touching base on. And I actually heard about it from Tony Robbins maybe 3 or 4 years back. After listening to his book, as well as listening to his conversation with some of the other podcasters like Tim Ferriss, I started my own automated fund for index funds. And index funds is really beautiful because you don't have to manage it. It's automatically pegged to the top, say, 500 companies or 100 companies, depending on the index fund you choose. And on top of that, you eliminate all the fees. So basically, it's a self-management because the market is managing the list of companies, and depending on the winners and losers, the companies within that fund will automatically be removed or added. And on top of that, you don't have to pay fees for any manager to manage your fund. So it's a win-win situation. You don't have to worry about the fees, as well as you can rely on the market because historically speaking, index funds, which is pegged to the entire market, has been rising at an average level of 8% per annum. But that being said, coming back to the original question of what is enough, how much is enough? I mean, the irony is not lost on me that I hardly have enough to even have a conversation about enough. And on top of that, I'm just getting started. So I'm not even, I don't know, quarter way there where I want to be. So is it a good idea to talk about what exactly is enough? I guess so, because I believe that talking about enough is like setting up your boundaries. So it's a healthy thing to set up your boundaries when it comes to finances, or when it comes to anything in general, right? And that kind of extends for the word enough too, because what exactly is enough for anyone? So are all the clothes in the world enough for you? Are all the women or relationships in the world enough for you? Are all the jewelry enough for you? Are all the name whatever you want enough for you? So it's a very personal question to begin with. And on top of that, you may be satisfied with one area of your life, but are you really satisfied with the other? So this conversation of what exactly is enough could be expanded in other areas of life, which is what I end up doing to kind of figure out, like, what are my healthy boundaries? What is enough for me? Is $100 million enough for me? Is having, I don't know, maybe 10 pair of clothes enough for me? And so on. But the point being that when you set your own boundaries, you are in control and you get to choose what is enough for you instead of someone else defining what is enough. So even though universe is comprised of everything possible, it is still expanding. It is still growing. Does that mean that the universe will stop growing at some point? I don't know. But with the current information we have, not only is universe expanding, but also accelerating. That means maybe we won't even know if the universe ever stopped expanding because we would be so far away from any means to collect that information. But the point being that the nature of the universe is to grow, even though it has everything within it. And that's the core of the realization that even if I have everything within me, even if I'm fulfilled, even if I have enough going on in my life, there is this innate nature or room to improvise and grow and keep on growing. And probably that's why you would hardly see most of the billionaires stop working once they hit their billion. Or that's true for most of the people in general. And on similar line, if you look at the nature, the concept of evolution is constantly growing. Even if by some unique randomness, evolution created a being which is perfect for that species, it doesn't just stop there. It still continues to evolve. And the point being that there doesn't have to be a duality that nothing is enough or something has to be enough. You could very well be in the center of both of these aspects. Something like the universe, which comprise of everything, which is satisfied in a way within itself and still continue to grow. I believe that we have different tools at our disposal which we could use to feel that set of satisfaction. And one of the biggest tool by far is gratitude. Because when you are grateful for anything, you are telling a story to yourself that this is enough. I have abundance around me. I'm grateful for everything I have in my life. And on the other end, if you're just constantly chasing for one thing or the other thing without being grateful for it, the chances are the thing you're chasing, you'll never catch up to that. Even if you did catch up to a temporary goal or the temporary milestone while chasing that thing, the milestone will move ahead and then you'll be starting from wherever you are to the new milestone and then continue towards a new milestone. And honestly, there is a bit of satisfaction when you did accomplish or reach that milestone too. To wrap this up, this thought experiment helped me to understand what type of lifestyle I want to live and also to set up healthy boundaries with which I can gauge my progress over time. And maybe these progression are a burst or a bubbles of satisfaction because like I said, once you set up an audacious bigger goal and set up different milestones to reach to that goal, every single time you hit that milestone you will feel a surge of satisfaction, inspiration, motivation, whatever takes you. I feel that I said enough for today, so I'll see you next time. Until then, peace.